Welcome to Jikoni Magic. Today I'm going to demonstrate to you how I make my coconut milk and cream. I've had requests, like for example, Lynette Wanja, who wanted to know how I make my coconut milk and cream. And I also had an ongoing conversation with Lady Zioness, who asked me if I had a video on how I make my coconut milk and cream. So I was like, nah, it's just one of those things that had never crossed my mind to shoot as I'm doing. Then she told me that in as much as there were so many other videos online where she could watch how to make the homemade coconut milk and cream, should have preferred mine because, well, they were closer to home. And I told her nitajikakamua basi, and 2 months down the road, here I am. So I am starting off this video when I've already removed the coconut meat from the shells. And just in case there's somebody who's watching me and they have no idea what a full coconut would look like, I'm placing two halves of the same coconut together. And this is how it looks like there, okay? And ideally, though this is not the only way, you're supposed to get your coconut water from the shell by poking those eyes that I've pointed at using a clean, sharp object like a screwdriver or a nail. But since I didn't have any of that, what did I do? I smashed the coconut on the floor until it just cracked open. And once it cracked open, I forced the crack to become wider and poured out the water into a cup. Now, normally I would use this coconut water to extract my coconut milk and cream. But I realized that the second coconut had some moldy bits, and this really scared me. So I threw away all that water that I had collected and all the meat from the second coconut. And that's why I'm not going to use the coconut water. I'm going to use tap water. And next, which is totally optional, I prefer to peel off the browned hard bit from my coconut meat. I just like my coconut cream and milk being snow white. And as you can see, my hands are already starting to shine because of the awesome coconut oil. I absolutely love this stuff. I use it on my skin, my hair, you name it. Love it, love it, love it. And here's my coconut after I'm finished with peeling it and washing it. And there's some parts here and there that have the brown bits, but it's so little that it doesn't bother me. So next I start by chopping my coconut into smaller pieces, as you're seeing me do here. Reason being that my blender has a very weak motor. It's one of those very old blenders and I've never gotten around to replacing it. And since it's still working, I don't feel the need to replace it. This is how I help it so that I can also achieve the results that I want and have it last longer. And once I'm finished chopping up the coconut into small pieces, I throw them all into the blender, add just enough water to cover them, and blend for about 4 to 5 minutes until the coconut is broken down into very small, fine pieces. And this is what you have. As you can see, I really used very little water. And let me just give you a better view of what I mean. There you can see the water is so little that unless you squeeze, you can't really tell that there is that amount of water. So I pour all this through a sieve and squeeze out as much of that water as I can. And this is what we call tui ya kwanza. Tui ya kwanza meaning the coconut cream. It's heavy, it's thick, and it's very, very rich and luscious. And so what I do is I pour out this cream into a container. So I'm pouring it out into a measuring jar so that you can see exactly how much cream I got from it. And I got 300 ml. This is me again after I blended the coconut in more water. And from the get-go, you can actually see that the water coming out of it is much, much lighter than the first round. Now this is the coconut milk. I only blend my coconut twice because I feel like the third round is not going to yield much for me. And from the second round of blending, I got 300 ml of coconut milk. Perhaps one of the questions that might be ringing in your head right now as you're watching this video is, Jikoni Magic, what do you do with the coconut bits that are remaining? Simple, I discard them, but I keep some aside and use them as a facial and body scrub. And as you can see, after scrubbing for about just less than a minute, a very nice oily sheen is beginning to develop right on the part that I've scrubbed. Now just imagine how amazing your skin is going to look and feel like after you take your time to actually scrub it properly. Tafakari hayo. And as promised, in the next set of videos, I am going to show you how I use my homemade coconut milk and cream. I'll be starting off with my coconut chapatis. Now these are not your everyday run-of-the-mill coconut chapatis. They are chapatis with a twist. Zitakuwa nyororo na zenye ladha maalum ya kuvutia. Usiwachwe nyuma. Kwa heri ya kuonana. Keep it Jikoni magic. Goodbye.